Stop lying to yourself. 2026 isn't a new beginning. It's a judgment day. And right now, you are losing. You are working harder, yet owning nothing. You are tired, yet easily replaceable. You blame the economy, but Musashi knew the dark truth 400 years ago. The economy isn't crushing you. Your softness is. If you don't sharpen your mind today, you will be left behind by the system tomorrow. Here is how to survive. If you're not ready for brutal honesty, this isn't for you. But if you stay, you will hear something you've been running from your entire life. The truth that burns, the truth that cuts, the truth that transforms. Let me paint the picture. You wake up tired, not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, the kind that lives in your bones, the kind that whispers, "What's the point?" You scroll through your phone before your feet hit the floor. You compare. You see everyone winning, everyone traveling, everyone building empires. Except you. You tell yourself, next year, next month, next week. I'll start then. But next never comes. It just keeps moving further away, like a horizon you'll never reach. You work. Oh, you work hard. 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours if they ask. But here's the question that keeps you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. What do you actually own? Your car? Look at the paperwork. The bank owns it. Your house? The bank owns it. Your time? Your boss owns it. Your attention? Instagram owns it. Your peace of mind? Anxiety owns it. Your future? Debt owns it. You are a renter in your own life, and the rent just went up again. Here's what nobody tells you because they're too polite, too soft, too afraid of hurting your feelings. The system wasn't designed to free you. It was designed to harvest you. Your energy, your time, your hope, your dreams. You trade 40 years of your life, 40 years of waking up tired, for a retirement plan that might let you rest when you're 70. If you're lucky, if the market doesn't crash, if inflation doesn't devour it, if you don't get sick, if your body doesn't give out first. That's not a plan, that's a prayer. That's a gamble with terrible odds. And Musashi, the greatest swordsman who ever lived, he would look at that plan and walk away. Because 400 years ago, in the mountains of Japan, a man who won 60 duels to the death wrote something that exposes everything. He wrote, "Do not seek pleasure for its own sake." He wrote, "Do not collect weapons or practice with weapons beyond what is useful." He wrote, "Accept everything just the way it is." Simple words. But they cut through delusions like a blade through paper. But here's the line that destroys comfortable men. Do nothing which is of no use. Read that again. Let it sink in. Do nothing which is of no use. Now look at your screen time this week. Look at your Netflix queue. Look at your DoorDash history. Look at your Amazon cart. Look at the subscriptions you forgot you're paying for. Look at the gym membership you haven't used in 4 months. Look at the books you bought but never opened. You are bleeding money on useless things. You are bleeding time on useless people. You are bleeding energy on useless emotions, useless arguments, useless worries. And then you wonder why you're broke, why you're exhausted, why you're stuck in the same place you were last year. And the year before that, and the year before that, Musashi would look at you and see a corpse that's still walking, a man who thinks he's alive because his heart is beating, but his spirit died years ago, killed by comfort, killed by distraction, killed by the slow poison of choosing easy over necessary. You're not living. You're surviving, and barely. You want to know what softness really looks like? It's not weakness. Weakness is honest. A weak man says, "I can't do this." And maybe he tries anyway. Maybe he fails with dignity. But softness is worse than weakness. Softness is the lie you tell yourself every single morning. I'll start the business next month. I'll save money next paycheck. I'll work out next week. I'll read that book next year. I'll change next decade. Next, 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 always next. Never now. Never today. And while you're waiting for the perfect moment, for the perfect feeling, for the perfect circumstances, the world doesn't wait. Your competition wakes up at 5 a.m. while you hit snooze. Your competition learns new skills while you watch reels. Your competition saves 30% of their income while you finance things you don't need. Your competition reads 50 books a year while you can't finish one. Your competition doesn't watch TV. Your competition doesn't scroll for hours. Your competition doesn't make excuses. Your competition doesn't wait for motivation. And in 2026, your competition will take your job. Your competition will take your clients. Your competition will take your opportunities. Your competition will take your future. Not because they're smarter than you, not because they're more talented, not because they're luckier, but because they're harder, because they chose discipline while you chose comfort, because they built while you watched. Here's the dark truth that nobody wants to say out loud, the truth that makes people angry, the truth that gets videos reported. The economy isn't destroying you, your softness is. You live in the greatest era of opportunity in human history. You have the internet. You have access to infinite knowledge. You have tools that would make Musashi weep with envy. You have resources that emperors couldn't buy 400 years ago. And what do you do with it? You watch reels. You argue with strangers online. You buy things you don't need to impress people you don't even like. Musashi fought duels to the death with a wooden sword he carved himself. He lived in caves during winter. He ate once a day, sometimes less. He owned nothing except his swords and his mind, and he became immortal. His words are still read today, 400 years after. His words are still read today, 400 years after his death. You have everything, every advantage, every tool, every opportunity, and you're becoming nothing, a statistic, a cautionary tale. Another person who had potential but never used it. Let me show you what 2026 looks like if you don't change right now. You'll be 1 year older, 1 year more tired, 1 year deeper in debt, 1 year further from your goals, 1 year closer to realizing you wasted your entire life on temporary comfort. And by then, it might be too late, not because you physically can't change, but because you won't. Because softness becomes a disease. It spreads through your mind like rust through iron. It consumes everything. It kills slowly. So slowly you don't even notice until you wake up at 50, broke, tired, and full of regret. Right now, in this exact moment, you have a choice. You can close this video. You can go back to scrolling, back to numbing, back to pretending everything is fine. You can tell yourself, this doesn't apply to me. I'm different. I'll figure it out. You can keep lying, keep hiding, keep choosing comfort. Or you can stay. You can listen. You can face the man in the mirror and admit the truth that's been screaming in the back of your mind for years. You've been soft. You've been losing. And if you don't sharpen yourself today, if you don't change today, you will be left behind tomorrow. Musashi wrote 21 precepts before he died alone in a cave. 21 rules for living as a warrior in a world designed to make you soft. And the first one cuts the deepest. Accept everything just the way it is, not as you wish it to be, not as you hope it will be, not as it should be, as it is. Right now, you are broke. Accept it. You are tired. Accept it. You've been choosing comfort over growth. Accept it. Because only when you accept the truth, when you stop making excuses, when you stop blaming everyone and everything else, can you begin to change it. So here's your first assignment, your first cut with the blade. Tonight, before you close your eyes, before you escape into sleep, write down 3 lies you've been telling yourself. I'll start tomorrow. I deserve a break. It's not my fault. I just need more time. I'm waiting for the right moment. Write them down on paper. Look at them, see them for what they are, then burn the paper. Watch the lies turn to ash. Let the smoke carry them away. Because tomorrow, we begin the real work. Tomorrow, we sharpen the blade. Tomorrow, you start becoming dangerous. But tonight, you confess. You admit it. You've been the soft man Musashi warned about. And 2026 is coming for everyone who refuses to harden themselves. The question is, will you be ready? Or will you be another casualty? Another person who had everything and built nothing? The clock is ticking. The year is starting. And the warrior inside you is starving, waiting, ready to be fed. Will you feed him? Or will you let him die? You let him die. Chapter 2. The Way of the Sword. In 1645, a man climbed a mountain to die, not because he was defeated, not because he was afraid, but because he had nothing left to prove. His name was Miyamoto Musashi. He was 60 years old. He had killed over 60 men in single combat. He had never lost, not once in his entire life. And now, in a cave called Regando, with nothing but a brush, ink and paper, he decided to write his final lesson. Not for other samurai, not for students, not for history, but for you, for the man who thinks he's out of time, for the man who thinks it's too late, for the soft man who needs to hear the truth before it destroys him. He called it the Dokodo, the path of aloneness, the way of walking alone. 21 precepts. 21 cuts to the ego. 21 truths that society doesn't want you to know. And if you can stomach them, if you can apply them, they will save your financial life. They will save your spiritual life. They will save you from becoming another regret-filled corpse walking through 2026. But here's the warning Musashi would give you himself. These precepts don't care about your feelings. They don't care about your trauma. They don't care about your childhood. They don't care about your excuses. They care about one thing and one thing only. Can you survive? Can you win? Can you become the kind of person who thrives when everyone else is breaking? Let's start with the second precept. Read it slowly. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. This one sentence destroys modern men more than any other. Because everything you do, everything you choose, every decision you make is designed around one question. Will this feel good? You eat because it tastes good, not because it fuels you. You scroll because it feels good, not because it teaches you. You buy because it feels good, not because you need it. You avoid hard work because it doesn't feel good. You avoid difficult conversations because they don't feel good. You avoid looking at your bank account because it doesn't feel good. And Musashi says, stop. Stop right now. Pleasure is a trap. Pleasure is the bait on the hook. And you're the fish. Every single time you choose comfort over discipline, you get weaker. Every time you choose distraction over focus, you get softer. Every time you choose pleasure over purpose, you get broker. You think you're treating yourself. You think you're living, but you're dying. Slowly, expensively, permanently. Here's what Musashi understood that you don't. Pleasure is expensive. Not just in money, though that's part of it. It's expensive in time, in energy, in opportunity, in future. That 8 coffee every morning. It's not just $8. Do the math. $8 times 365 days equals $2,920 per year. That's a month of rent for some people. That's a flight to another country. That's an investment that could become $50,000 in 10 years with compound interest. But you traded it. You traded your future for foam and sugar and 5 minutes of mild satisfaction. Because it felt good in the moment. That Netflix binge every night. It's not just 3 hours. It's 3 hours times 365 days. That's 1,095 hours per year. That's 45 full days. That's a month and a half of your one precious life that you gave to strangers telling you fictional stories. While your real story, your actual life, remains unwritten, unwanted, unlived. Because watching felt easier than creating. Consuming felt safer than building. Musashi would look at your life and ask one simple question. What are you building? And if the answer is nothing, if the answer is, I don't know, if the answer is, I'm still figuring it out, he would turn around and walk away. Because you can't be helped. You can only be buried. A man who builds nothing becomes nothing. And nothing is what the system does with you when you're done being useful. But here's the twist. Here's the nuance that soft men miss. Musashi wasn't against pleasure. He wasn't some miserable monk denying himself everything. He was against pleasure for its own sake. Meaning, if pleasure serves a purpose, if it has utility, take it. A nutritious meal after hard training? Useful. It fuels recovery. A rest day after 6 days of intense work? Useful. It prevents burnout and injury. A celebration after hitting a major goal? Useful. It reinforces the behavior that led to success. But pleasure as your default mode, pleasure as an escape, pleasure as a drug to numb the pain of your wasted potential. That's what ends you. That's what makes you soft. That's what makes you broke. That's what makes you replaceable. Now, let's go deeper into the philosophy that will change everything. The 5th precept, do not, under any circumstances, depend on a partial feeling. This cuts to the bone. This exposes everything. Because you make every decision based on feelings. You feel like going to the gym today. You feel like working on your business. You feel like saving money this month. You feel like being disciplined. And when you don't feel like it, you don't do it. Simple as that. Musashi says, feelings are irrelevant. Feelings are weather. They change every hour, sometimes every minute. You cannot build a life on feelings. You cannot build wealth on feelings. You cannot build anything permanent on something that changes constantly. You build a life on principles, on systems, on non-negotiable standards, on discipline that doesn't ask permission from your emotions. The samurai didn't feel like training at 4 a.m. in the freezing winter cold. His hands were numb. His body was exhausted. Every fiber of his being wanted to stay in the warm room. But he trained anyway, because his life depended on it. One moment of weakness, one morning of choosing comfort, could mean death in the next duel. And your life, your financial life, your future, it depends on the exact same principle. Here's the system Musashi would teach you. Do the necessary thing before you feel ready, before you feel motivated, before you feel inspired, before you feel anything. Just do it. Cold, mechanical, automatic, ruthless. Wake up at the same time every day. Train at the same time. Work at the same time. Eat at the same time. Save at the same time. Sleep at the same time. No negotiation, no feelings, no excuses. No, just this once. And over time, something miraculous happens. The feelings follow the action. You start to feel strong because you are strong. You start to feel confident because you are capable. You start to feel wealthy because you are disciplined. But it starts with betraying the feeling. It starts with doing it anyway. It starts with becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to feel like it. Let's go to the 8th precept, the one that will make you question everything. Do not act following customary beliefs. This is the nuclear option. This is the precept that destroys everything you think you know. Because everything you believe about money, about success, about life, you learned it from people who failed. Your parents meant well, but look at their bank account. Your teachers meant well, but they traded 40 years for a pension. Your friends mean well, but they're just as broke and confused as you are. And Musashi says, question everything, especially the things everyone agrees on. Customary belief says, go to college, get a degree, get a good job, work for 40 years, retire at 65 if you're lucky, then die. Musashi says, or learn a skill the market actually values. Sell it directly. Keep 100% of the profit. Scale it with systems. Retire at 40 if you want. Live on your terms. Customary belief says, save your money in a savings account where it's safe. Musashi says, safe from what? Inflation is eating it alive at 3 to 7% per year. You're losing money by saving it wrong. Learn to invest. Learn to build assets. Learn to multiply instead of merely storing. Customary belief says, don't take risks. Play it safe. Steady and slow wins the race. Musashi says, safe is the most dangerous place to be in a changing world, because safe means stagnant, and stagnant means you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. The race isn't won by the steady. It's won by the adaptive. Here's what Musashi did that terrified every other warrior in Japan. He broke every single rule. Traditional samurai used one sword. Musashi used two. Traditional samurai trained in beautiful dojos with masters. Musashi trained alone in forests, in rivers, in mountains, in caves. Traditional samurai followed lineages and schools and traditions. Musashi followed no one. He created his own way. And because he refused to follow customary beliefs, because he questioned everything, because he was willing to look crazy to people who would die following rules, he became legendary, undefeated, immortal. You want to win in 2026? Stop doing what everyone else is doing. Everyone else is buying things they don't need with money they don't have to impress people they don't like. So you save aggressively. Everyone else is consuming content for hours every day. So you create content, you build skills, you produce value. Everyone else is working to make someone else wealthy. So you build equity in yourself, in your own assets, in your own future. Everyone else is soft, comfortable, and dying slowly. So you become hard, uncomfortable, alive. The 13th precept will free you if you let it. Do not seek to possess either goods or fiefs for your old age. In modern language, do not hoard, do not accumulate. Do not collect things for the sake of having them. Musashi owned almost nothing. A sword, a brush, some paper, that's it. And he was more free than any emperor. You own 1,000 things. You have closets full of clothes you don't wear, garages full of tools you don't use, storage units full of things you forgot you bought. And you're a slave. Slave to the mortgage, slave to the car payment, slave to the credit card minimum, slave to the storage unit fee. Here's the trap nobody tells you about. You think ownership gives you security, but ownership owns you. Every single thing you own requires something from you. Time to maintain it, energy to organize it, money to store it, mental space to remember it. Your house needs constant repairs. Your car needs constant maintenance. Your clothes need space. Your electronics need updates. Your furniture needs rooms. And all of it, everything, needs you to work harder, stay later, sacrifice more of your life just to maintain the things you thought would make you happy. Musashi says, own less, need less, fear less. The less you need, the more free you become. The more free you are, the more dangerous you become. Because a man who needs nothing cannot be controlled, cannot be bought, cannot be threatened, cannot be broken. He walks away from bad deals. He says no to exploitation. He lives on his terms because he has no chains. So here's your second assignment, and it's going to hurt. Make a list of everything you own that you haven't used in 6 months. Everything. Clothes, tools, electronics, subscriptions, memberships, everything. Then sell it, all of it. Today, this week, take that money and put it in a separate account. Watch it grow. Feel the weight lift. Because every single thing you release is a chain you break. Everything you sell is a piece of freedom you buy back. The 17th precept is the one that will test you daily. Never stray from the way. The way is not a path you walk once. It's a practice you live every single day. It's waking up at the same time, training at the same time, working at the same time, eating at the same time, saving at the same time, sleeping at the same time. Every day. No deviation, no exceptions. No, just this once. No, I deserve a break today. Because just this once is a lie. It becomes just this week, which becomes just this month, which becomes just this year, which becomes just this life. And then you wake up at 50 years old, broke, tired, exhausted, and you realize you spent your entire existence making exceptions. You made exceptions to your diet, to your training, to your business, to your savings, to your principles. And all those exceptions added up to nothing, to a life that looks nothing like what you wanted. Musashi never strayed, not once. For 60 years, he followed the way with perfect precision, through hunger, through pain, through loneliness, through winter, through war, through everything. And he died undefeated, immortal, free. You have years left. maybe 30, maybe 50, maybe 10. Nobody knows. But however many you have left, they start right now. With one decision, will you follow the way? Will you become the kind of person who does what they say they'll do? Or will you follow the crowd? The crowd that's soft, the crowd that's broke, the crowd that's dying slowly from comfort. The way is hard. The way is lonely sometimes. The way demands everything. But the way is the only path to the life you actually want. Choose now. Because Musashi's sword is at your throat, and it's asking, are you worthy? Or are you just another soft man making promises you'll never keep? The answer is in your next action, not your next word, your next action. Soft man making promises you'll never keep. The answer is in your next action, not your next word, your next action. Chapter 3. The ridiculously small step. You're still here. That means something. That means you haven't closed the video and gone back to scrolling. That means some part of you, maybe the part you've been ignoring for years, is ready. Ready to hear the truth that will change everything if you let it. Here it is, the secret that Musashi knew and that modern gurus will never tell you because they can't sell courses on it. You don't need a massive plan. You don't need a complete transformation. You don't need to overhaul your entire life tomorrow. You need one thing, one small step. So small it feels almost stupid. So small you can't possibly fail, but so sharp, so precise, that it cuts through all your softness like a blade through morning mist. Musashi won 60 duels to the death. 60 times he stood across from another trained killer. 60 times his life depended on one moment, and he survived all of them. But he didn't start by fighting 60 men. He didn't start by challenging the greatest warriors in Japan. He started by mastering one single cut. One movement, one breath, one step. He practiced that one movement 10,000 times. In rain, in snow, in darkness, in exhaustion, until it was perfect, until it was unconscious, until it was so deeply embedded in his muscle memory that his body could execute it without his mind even being present. Until it was deadly, and then, only then, he added another movement, and another, each one practiced 10,000 times. Each one perfected, each one sharpened until it could end a life in one motion. And that's how he became unbeatable. Not through some grand strategy, not through talent, not through luck. Through the accumulation of tiny perfect actions repeated until they became automatic. You want to be financially unbeatable in 2026? You want to look back 1 year from now and not recognize the broke, tired, soft person you are today? Stop trying to change everything at once. Stop downloading 30 apps. Stop buying 7 courses. Stop making lists of 100 goals. Change one thing, just one. Today, right now. Here's the formula. I call it the ridiculously small step, and it has 3 non-negotiable rules. First, it must take less than 5 minutes to complete, not 15, not 10, 5. Because you're tired, you're overwhelmed, you're barely holding on. If it takes more than 5 minutes, you won't do it. Second, it must cost exactly $0. No gym membership, no course, no equipment, no subscription, nothing. Just you and the decision. Third, it must be repeatable every single day without exception. No, I'll do it when I have time. No, I'll start Monday, every single day. Same time, same way. No negotiation. That's it. Those are the rules. And here's why this works when everything else fails. Here's why this one principle is worth more than every motivation video you've ever watched. Let me give you concrete examples. You're broke, you're bleeding money, and you don't know where it goes. Here's your ridiculously small step. Every single morning, before you touch your phone, before you check social media, before you do anything else, write down one expense you will not make today. Just one. One coffee you'll skip. One Uber you'll walk instead. One impulse purchase you'll refuse. One subscription you'll cancel. One delivery you'll cook instead. Write it down. Commit to it. Save that money instead. 5 minutes. $0. repeatable daily. In 1 month, you've saved $200, maybe $300. In 1 year, that's $2,400 to $3,600. In 5 years, that's $12,000 to $18,000 plus compound interest if you invest it. That could become $25,000 or more from 5 minutes a day, from one small decision repeated, from refusing one unnecessary expense. You're tired? You're physically weak? Your body feels like it's aging faster than it should? Here's your ridiculously small step. Every morning, before you eat breakfast, before you shower, before you do anything else, do 10 push-ups. Not 20, not 50, not 100. 10. Just 10. Drop to the floor, push yourself up, lower yourself down. Do it 10 times. That's it. 5 minutes. $0. Repeatable daily. In 1 month, you'll have done 300 push-ups. Your chest will be stronger. Your arms will be harder. Your discipline will be sharper. In 1 year, 3,650 push-ups. Your entire body will have transformed. People will ask what you're doing differently. And you'll smile because you know the secret. You just did 10 push-ups every day. That's all. You're distracted. You're addicted to your phone. You lose hours every day to scrolling, and you hate yourself for it. Here's your ridiculously small step. Every night before bed, look at your screen time report. Find the app you used most that day, the one that stole the most minutes from your life. Delete it. Right then. Don't think. Don't negotiate. Just delete it. 5 minutes. $0. Repeatable daily. In 1 week, you've deleted 7 apps. In 1 month, your screen time will drop by 40% or more. In 1 year, you've reclaimed 500 hours. That's 3 full weeks of your life you get back. 3 weeks you can use to learn a skill, build a business, read 20 books, create something valuable. 3 weeks of life you were throwing away on content that made you feel worse. Now here's the deeper truth, the psychological principle that makes this work. Here's why the ridiculously small step succeeds when massive goals fail every single time. Big goals feel amazing. They give you a hit of dopamine just from saying them. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm going to make 6 figures. I'm going to build $1 million business. Your brain releases pleasure chemicals just from imagining success. You feel good without doing anything. And then you do nothing. Because big goals require big changes, and big changes require massive energy. And you don't have massive energy. You're exhausted. Remember? You can barely get through the day. So the goal sits there, mocking you, making you feel worse, proving that you're a failure, and eventually you give up. You tell yourself, I'm just not that kind of person. But small steps, ridiculously small steps, they don't require energy, they don't require motivation, they don't require you to feel good or inspired or ready. They require only one thing, decision. And decision is free. Decision costs nothing. You can be exhausted, broke, depressed, overwhelmed, barely functioning, and still do 10 push-ups, still write down 1 expense, still delete 1 app. The size of the action doesn't matter. The consistency does. Musashi had a teaching he never wrote down but lived every day: strike without effort. The sword doesn't need to swing hard. The sword needs to swing true. It's not about force. It's not about trying harder. It's about precision, about doing the small thing perfectly, the same way, every single time, until it compounds into something unstoppable, until it becomes who you are. Here's what happens after 30 days of ridiculously small steps, and I'm telling you this from observation of thousands of people. You start to trust yourself again. For the first time in years, maybe decades, you start to believe your own words. Because every single day, you said you would do something. And every single day, you did it. That trust, that reliability, that evidence that you can keep a promise to yourself, that's the foundation. That's the crack in the armor of softness. And once that crack forms, once you prove to yourself that you're capable of consistency, the whole structure of weakness starts to crumble. After 60 days, Other people start noticing. They can't quite put their finger on it, but something is different about you. You look different. You seem more focused. What changed? And you smile. You keep the secret. Because you know that nothing changed and everything changed. You just took the smallest possible step, and you kept taking it, day after day, without drama, without announcement, without needing applause. After 90 days, you're legitimately not the same person. The man who couldn't save $5 now has $500 saved. The man who couldn't do one proper push-up now does 50 without thinking. The man who couldn't focus for 5 minutes now works in deep concentration for 5 hours. And here's the beautiful part, the part that makes all of this worth it. It feels easy, not because you're special, not because you suddenly became disciplined, but because it became a habit. And habits don't require willpower. They don't require motivation. They just require repetition until your brain automates the behavior. But I need to warn you about something. Your brain will fight this. Your brain will resist the ridiculously small step with everything it has, because your brain hates small steps. Your brain wants grand gestures. Your brain wants you to join a gym, buy new workout clothes, hire a trainer, post about it on social media, get likes and comments and validation. Your brain wants the story, the drama, the appearance of change without the actual work of changing. Small steps don't give you that. Deleting one app doesn't make you feel like a hero. Doing 10 push-ups doesn't give you a transformation story to share. Skipping one coffee doesn't sound impressive at dinner parties, and so your brain will whisper, "This is stupid. This isn't enough." Real change requires big action. Start Monday with a complete overhaul. And that's the trap. That's the lie that's kept you stuck. Because Monday never comes. The complete overhaul never happens. The big change never sticks. But the small step, the ridiculously small, embarrassingly tiny, almost laughably simple step, that one works. That one sticks. That one compounds. Musashi didn't care about looking impressive. He didn't care about having a good story. He cared about one thing: survival, victory, mastery. And small steps kept him alive when fancy techniques got other samurai killed. While other warriors trained with elaborate moves and complex strategies, Musashi drilled the basics. One cut, one block, one step, over and over and over, 10,000 times. And when the real duel came, when life and death hung on one moment, the fancy samurai with their impressive techniques died, and Musashi, with his simple, perfect, repeated basics, walked away every single time. Your duel is 2026. It's coming. Fast, faster than you think. You can spend the next 12 months watching videos about change, reading books about success, talking about what you're going to do, or you can drill the basics. Save $1, do one push-up, delete one app, skip one expense, make one call, write one page every single day, without exception, without negotiation, and show up to 2026 unbreakable. Here's your third assignment, and this one is urgent, right now. Not tomorrow, not after this video ends, not when you feel ready, right now. Pause if you need to. Choose your ridiculously small step, just one. The one that will make the biggest difference in your life. Write it down, set a timer for 5 minutes, and do it before your brain talks you out of it, before you find an excuse, before you forget, before the motivation fades. Do it right now. And tomorrow morning, do it again. And the morning after that, again, and again, and again. For 90 days minimum. No breaks, no days off. No. I'll do it twice tomorrow. Just repetition, just consistency, just the way. And if you fail, if you miss a day because life happened, because you forgot, because you were overwhelmed, don't restart the counter. Don't punish yourself. Don't use it as evidence that you're a failure. Just do it twice the next day. Because Musashi didn't win 60 duels by being perfect. He won by never quitting, by getting back up every time, by showing up every single time, even when he was wounded, tired, or afraid. You are not weak. Let me be clear about this. You are not broken. You are not incapable. You are untrained. There's a massive difference. Weakness is permanent. Untrained is temporary. And training starts with the smallest possible cut, the most basic movement, the simplest step. Make it now. Before this moment passes, before you move on to the next video, the next distraction, the next excuse, make it now. The blade is in your hand. All you have to do is swing it once, just once, and then again tomorrow. And the day after, until one day you realize you've become the person you needed to be all along. Do it now. And the day after, until one day you realize you've become the person you needed to be all along. Do it now. Chapter 4. The Iron Accounting. Let's talk about the thing you've been avoiding, the thing that makes your stomach turn, the thing you think about at 3 a.m. but refuse to look at in daylight. Your money. Not your dreams about money, not your fantasies, not your someday when, your actual, real, current, brutally honest financial situation. The numbers, the debt, the income, the gap between what you earn and what you owe and what you need and what you waste. Musashi called it knowing your ground. You cannot win a battle on terrain you don't understand. And right now, you're fighting blind. So here's the question that makes soft men run, that makes comfortable people close the video, that makes people angry enough to leave hateful comments. Do you know exactly, precisely, to the dollar, how much money you have right now? Not approximately, not around, not I think it's about. Exactly. Most of you don't. Most of you think you have 1,000 in your account. You think you owe 15,000 total. You think you make enough to get by. But thinking is not knowing. Guessing is not measuring. And not knowing is exactly why you're losing this war. Musashi knew everything about his battlefield before the duel even started. The distance to his opponent, the angle of the sun, and how it would move. The direction and strength of the wind. The quality of the footing under his feet. The escape routes if something went wrong. Every possible detail. Because one miscalculation, one unknown variable, one surprise could mean death in seconds. And you don't even know your credit card balance. You don't know what subscriptions are pulling money from your account. You're fighting with a blindfold on. And you wonder why you're bleeding, why you're always behind, why you never get ahead. Here's what iron accounting means, what it demands from you: every number, every single dollar, every cent of debt, every hidden fee, every asset, everything written down with brutal, unforgiving accuracy. No guessing, no rounding, no close enough. No, it doesn't really matter. Exact numbers, because you cannot fix what you cannot see. You cannot defeat an enemy you refuse to look at. And right now, today, you are broke because you refuse to know. Because knowing means admitting. And admitting means feeling the shame. And feeling the shame hurts. So, you avoid it. And you stay broke. Let me walk you through the system. The complete iron accounting process. It takes 20 minutes if you focus. You will hate every single second. You will want to stop halfway through. You will feel emotions you've been running from for years. Do it anyway. Because these 20 minutes will save your life. First, open every bank account you have, every savings account, every checking account, every account you opened for some specific purpose and forgot about, every PayPal balance, every Venmo balance, every Cash App, everything. Write down the exact balance of each one, to the cent. Then add them together. That number, that total, is your actual liquid cash. Not what you hope you have. Not what you think you should have. What you actually have right now. Second, open every credit card statement, every loan document, every buy now, pay later agreement, every payment plan you're on, every medical bill you're paying off, every person you borrowed money from. Everything. Write down exactly what you owe. The total balance. Not the minimum payment, the full amount you actually owe. Add all of it together. That's your total debt. That's the weight you're carrying. That's the chain around your neck. Now do the simple, terrifying math. Subtract your total debt from your total cash. That number, That final calculation is your real net worth, your actual financial position. And for most of you watching this, it's negative. You don't have money. You have a hole that gets deeper every month, a hole you've been pretending doesn't exist. But now you know, now you've measured it. Now it's real. Third, track every single expense for the next 30 days. And I mean every single one. Not just the big obvious ones, not just rent and car payments. Everything. The $3 coffee, the $8 lunch, the 15 Uber when you could have walked, the 5 app subscription you forgot you signed up for 6 months ago, the $2.99 in-app purchase, the $20 DoorDash order because you were too tired to cook. Write it all down, every single transaction, every dollar that leaves your possession. Because here's what you're going to discover, what everyone discovers when they finally track honestly. You're not broke because you don't earn enough. You're broke because you bleed small. Death by 1,000 cuts. A $5 expense seems harmless, insignificant, not worth worrying about. But a $5 expense every single day is $1,825 per year. If you have 5 of those $5 habits, that's $9,125 annually. That's a reliable used car. That's 3 months of rent in many cities. That's a year of aggressive investing that could become $50,000 in 10 years with compound returns. But you traded it. You traded your future, your freedom, your peace of mind for coffee and convenience and temporary comfort. Because each individual purchase felt small. But small cuts kill just as dead as big ones. They just take longer. They're harder to notice, until you're bleeding out and wondering where all your money went. Here's what Musashi wrote that applies perfectly to money. In strategy, it is important to see distant things as if they were close, and to take a distanced view of close things. Translation: that $5 expense seems tiny, harmless, irrelevant today. But look at it from 10 years away. See it as $18,250 plus all the compounded returns you lost. See it as the retirement you won't have. See it as the freedom you sacrificed. See it as the opportunities you'll never get because you were always broke. Suddenly, it's not small anymore. Suddenly, it's one of the most expensive decisions you make every single day. Fourth, calculate your true hourly rate. Your real hourly rate. Take your monthly income after taxes. Divide it by 160 hours, which is roughly 1 month of full-time work. That number is what 1 hour of your life costs, what your time is worth in the market. Let's say you make $4,000 per month after taxes. That's $25 per hour. That's what 1 hour of your life, your limited time on this planet, is worth in money. Now, look at every purchase through that lens. Look at everything you buy and ask, how many hours of my life does this cost? That $100 dinner at a restaurant? 4 hours of your life. That $500 concert ticket? 20 hours. That $50,000 car? 2,000 hours of your life. That's an entire working year. 50 weeks of waking up, going to work, trading your time, your energy, your life force, all for metal and leather that loses value the moment you drive it. Now ask yourself the hard question, was it worth it? Is that car worth an entire year of your one life? Is that dinner worth 4 hours you'll never get back? Is that concert worth 20 hours? Sometimes, maybe. Sometimes the experience, the memory, the joy is worth the trade. But most of the time, if you're honest, no, it wasn't worth it. You just never calculated it. You never measured the trade. You never asked the question. You felt like buying, so you bought. And you bled. And you stayed broke. Fifth, create 2 separate accounts. 2 armies in your financial war. 1 for defense, 1 for offense. Defense is your emergency fund, your shield, your protection when life attacks, and life will attack. Minimum 3 months of basic expenses, rent, food, utilities, transportation, nothing else. This is what keeps you alive when you lose your job, when your car breaks down, when you get injured, when the unexpected inevitably happens. Offense is your investment account, your sword, your weapon. This is what cuts through poverty. This is what grows, what multiplies, what compounds, what sets you free. Every dollar you put into offense is a soldier fighting for your future. The more soldiers you send into battle, the faster you win the war. The faster you escape the system that's designed to keep you broke and tired and replaceable. Here's the allocation strategy Musashi would use, the tactical approach to building both simultaneously. First, build your defense to 1 month of expenses. Get that done as fast as possible. Then split every dollar you save, 70% to defense, 30% to offense. Keep this ratio until defense reaches 3 full months. Then flip it. Now it's 30% to defense, 70% to offense. Once defense hits 6 months of expenses, everything goes to offense, 100%. Because now you're protected. Now you have your shield. Now it's time to attack. Sixth, automate everything. Remove yourself from the equation because you cannot trust yourself. I can't trust myself. Nobody can trust their future self when temptation appears. Your brain will sabotage you. Your brain will say, I'll save next month. I deserve this. Just this once. I've been working so hard. Lies, all lies. Your brain lies to protect your comfort. So remove your brain from the decision. Set up automatic transfers the day you get paid. The moment money hits your account, before you can see it, before you can touch it, before you can spend it, it moves. To defense, to offense, to your future. This is what Musashi did with his training. He removed thought from the equation. Sword swings became automatic. Footwork became unconscious. Defense became instinct. You need the same with money. Saving becomes automatic. Investing becomes unconscious. Discipline becomes instinct. Your body acts before your mind can make excuses. Seventh, destroy one liability every single year. A liability is anything that takes money from you every month without giving value back. Your car payment, your credit card balance, your subscription you don't use, your streaming service you barely watch. Pick one, the smallest one. Focus everything on it. Attack it with concentrated fury. Pay double the minimum, triple it if possible. Eliminate it completely. Then take that monthly payment you're no longer making and add it to the next liability. Attack that one. This is called the debt snowball. And it's how you break the chains. Watch what happens. Year 1, you eliminate the $200 monthly car payment. Year 2, you add that $200 to your next $400 payment and eliminate a $600 monthly obligation. Year 3, you add $600 to your $800 payment and eliminate $1,400 monthly. By year 5, you're completely free. No car payment, no credit cards, no personal loans. All your income belongs to you. Every dollar you earn is yours to deploy as a weapon. And here's what financial freedom actually feels like. What it means in real terms: you wake up without that crushing weight on your chest. You don't check your bank account with fear and dread. You don't avoid looking at your phone because creditors might be calling. You don't calculate whether you can afford basic groceries. You don't have panic attacks about unexpected expenses. You breathe fully, deeply. For the first time in years, maybe for the first time in your adult life, you breathe without that constant background anxiety. But it starts with looking, with knowing, with measuring, with facing the numbers you've been running from, hiding from, pretending don't exist. Musashi said, "Perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye." He also said, "Face death at every moment." He meant, don't hide from reality, no matter how ugly. Look at it directly. Measure it accurately. Understand it completely. Because only then, only when you truly know what you're fighting, can you begin to defeat it. Your fourth assignment is the hardest one yet, the one that will hurt the most. Tonight, before you sleep, before you escape into unconsciousness, do the complete iron accounting, all 7 steps. Don't stop halfway. Don't tell yourself you'll finish it tomorrow. Tomorrow is where dreams go to die. Tomorrow is where change gets postponed forever. Do all 7 steps tonight. Sit with the discomfort. Sit with the shame. Sit with the fear. Sit with the truth. And then, here's the critical part. Use it. Let that truth, that brutal, honest assessment, fuel you. Let it sharpen you. Let the pain of seeing your real situation transform into rage, into determination, into an unbreakable commitment to never feel this way again. Let the numbers become your enemy. And then hunt that enemy down. You are broke today. That's true. That's your reality. But you won't be broke forever. Not if you start measuring today. Not if you start fighting today. Not if you stop lying to yourself and start tracking every inch of ground, every dollar, every debt, every wasteful expense, every missed opportunity. The battlefield is your bank account. The enemy is your lack of discipline, your ignorance, your refusal to know. The weapon is truth, measured, accurate, unforgiving truth. Draw that weapon now. Look at the numbers, face what you've been avoiding, and then begin the real fight. The fight for your freedom. The fight for your future. The fight that starts tonight with 20 painful minutes of honesty. Do it now. The fight that starts tonight with 20 painful minutes of honesty. Do it now. Chapter 5, The Final Stand. This is it, the final chapter, the last teaching. And I'm going to tell you something that will either ignite a fire in you that burns for the next decade or destroy every excuse you've been hiding behind. There's no middle ground here, no comfortable place to land. Here it is. 2026 will not save you. No calendar change will save you. No New Year's resolution will save you. No motivation will save you. No video, no book, no guru, no system, no app will save you. The only thing that will save you is you, becoming someone you've never been. Starting today. Starting right now in this moment. Musashi spent his entire life preparing for one type of moment. The moment when everything was on the line, when the next second could be his last, when one wrong move, one hesitation, one moment of fear meant death. And he survived 60 of those moments. 60 times he stood across from another man who had trained their entire life to kill. 60 times he wagered everything. 60 times he won, not because he was lucky, not because he was naturally gifted, not because the universe favored him, but because he prepared every single day, without exception, without excuses, without waiting for the right mood, or the right conditions, or the right moment. He woke up every day ready to die. And because he was always ready to die, fully prepared for death at any moment, he never did. He lived longer than almost any warrior of his era. He died peacefully, on his own terms, leaving behind teachings that outlived everyone who ever doubted him. You are facing your moment right now, not tomorrow, not next week, not in 2026, right now. This moment. The bills are coming. The rent keeps increasing. The market keeps moving. The competition keeps sharpening their skills. The world keeps spinning faster. And you're still deciding whether to start. You're still waiting for the perfect time. You're still looking for permission. You're still hoping someone will come and rescue you. You're still making plans without taking action. You're still consuming without creating. You're still thinking without doing. Let me tell you what Musashi would say if he could see you right now. There is no perfect time. There never was. There never will be. There is only now, this moment, this second, this choice. And if you don't move right now, if you don't start right now, you won't just fail to grow. You will die. Not physically, that would be merciful. You will die slowly, year by year, dream by dream, dollar by dollar, opportunity by opportunity, until you're 70 years old, sitting in a chair that someone else bought, in a house you don't own, looking back at a life you didn't live, whispering the saddest words in any language. I should have started that business. I should have learned that skill. I should have saved that money. I should have built something. I should have tried. I should have fought. I should have become who I was capable of becoming. But I didn't, because I was waiting, because I was scared, because I was soft. And softness, comfort, The addiction to easy doesn't forgive. It doesn't give second chances. It doesn't wait. It just consumes, slowly, quietly, completely. Here's the truth you need to hear. The truth that cuts through every excuse. You are capable of so much more than you're doing right now. Today, this moment, you have skills you're not using, knowledge you're not applying, time you're wasting, energy you're leaking into things that don't matter, money you're bleeding on things that don't serve your future, and potential, massive untapped potential that you're burying under comfort and distraction and fear. Not because you can't access it, but because you choose not to. Every single day, you choose comfort over growth, easy over necessary, immediate pleasure over delayed greatness. And comfort is killing you, slowly, invisibly, completely. But here's the other truth, the truth that could change everything. You can stop choosing comfort. Right now, this second, you can decide. Not try to decide, not think about deciding, not plan to decide. Decide. The way Musashi decided at 20 years old to become the greatest swordsman in Japan. He didn't hope. He didn't wish. He didn't wait for someone to believe in him. He decided, and then he built his entire life, every single day, around that one decision. What would your life look like if you decided? Truly decided. Decided to be disciplined. Decided to be wealthy. Decided to be free. Decided to be dangerous in the way that matters. Decided to be the kind of person who keeps promises to themselves. Not in a year. Not next month. Not Monday. Today. What would you do today if you actually decided? You'd wake up on time instead of hitting snooze 5 times. You'd skip the scroll and do the work. You'd do the push-ups even though your body resists. You'd write down the expense you're not going to make. You'd delete the app that's stealing your time. You'd face the numbers instead of avoiding them. You'd save the dollar instead of spending it. You'd build the skill instead of watching someone else use theirs. You'd take the ridiculously small step, and then another, and another, until small became consistent. Until consistent became powerful. Until powerful became unstoppable. Here's what Musashi said in his final hours, alone in that cave, knowing death was close. I have no regrets. Read that again. Let it sink in. After 60 years of blood and pain and hunger and isolation and fighting and nearly dying dozens of times, his final statement was, I have no regrets. Because he held nothing back. He gave everything. Every day, every moment. He lived at the edge of his capacity. And at the edge, when you're giving everything, there are no regrets. Only clarity. Only peace. Only the satisfaction of knowing you didn't waste the gift of being alive. You want clarity? You want peace? You want to look back at your life without regret? Then stop holding back. Stop protecting yourself from discomfort. Stop choosing the path of least resistance. Because the easy path, the comfortable path, the path everyone else takes, leads to a hard life. A life of regret. A life of, I should have. A life of wasted potential. But the hard path, the path of discipline and sacrifice and doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it, that path leads to an easy life. A free life. A life where you own your time. A life where you have choices. A life where you sleep well because you know you gave everything. Let me show you exactly what the next 5 years look like. 2 paths. 2 completely different destinations. You choose right now which one you take. Path 1. You ignore this message. You close this video. You go back to scrolling through content that makes you feel worse about yourself. You tell yourself, I'll start Monday. Fresh week. New beginning. Monday comes. You don't start. You have a reason. Always a good reason. You tell yourself, next month. First of the month. Clean slate. Next month. Comes. You still don't start. Another reason. Always another excuse. Years pass. 2026. 2027. 2028. 2029. 2030. 5 years from now, you're still broke, still tired, still soft. But now you're older. Your body is weaker. Your mind is slower. And that gap between where you are and where you want to be, it's not a gap anymore. It's a canyon, an impossible distance, and you can't cross it anymore. Not because you're not capable, but because you waited too long. Because you chose comfort too many times. Because you let the years slip away while you were planning to start. Path 2. You decide today, right now. You take the ridiculously small step. Just one, every single day, for 90 days, then 90 more, then another year, and another. By the end of 2026, you've saved $5,000 in your emergency fund. By 2027, you've completely eliminated 2 major debts. By 2028, you've built a skill valuable enough to earn $100,000 per year. By 2029, you own your time. You work because you choose to, not because you have to. By 2030, you're free, financially free, mentally free, physically free, and you look back at today, at this exact moment, at this video, at this decision, and you think, that's when everything changed. That's the moment I stopped being soft. That's when I decided to become who I needed to be. Which path will you take? And don't tell me with words. Words mean nothing. Musashi didn't talk about his duels before they happened. He fought them and won. Your life is your duel. 2026 is your opponent. It's coming whether you're ready or not. Will you show up prepared, trained, hardened, dangerous? Or will you show up the same way you are right now? Soft, unprepared, making excuses. Here's your final assignment, the one that determines everything. Write a letter to yourself, but not from today, from December 31st, 2026. Imagine you followed path 2, the hard path, the disciplined path, the path of the ridiculously small step taken every single day without exception. What did you accomplish? How much money did you save? How much weight did you lose? How much muscle did you build? What debts did you eliminate completely? What skills did you master? What business did you start? What income did you create? What softness did you destroy? What weakness did you transform into strength? Write it all, every detail. Make it specific, make it real. Make it so vivid you can taste it. Make it hurt because you haven't achieved it yet, but you can see it so clearly. Then print that letter, or write it by hand, and read it every single morning before you check your phone, before you scroll, before you weaken, before you choose comfort. Read it and let it pull you forward. Let it remind you why you're doing the hard thing today, why you're taking the small step, why you're doing the push-ups, why you're saving the dollar, why you're facing the truth. Because future you, the version of you that exists 1 year from now, is depending entirely on present you, on the choices you make today, on the actions you take right now. Musashi died alone in a cave with nothing but his swords and his writings. No wealth, no property, no possessions. And he was the richest man in Japan, because he had mastery, mastery of the sword, mastery of strategy, mastery of the mind, mastery of the self, and mastery, true mastery, is the only wealth that lasts forever. Everything else can be taken, can be stolen, can be lost, can disappear in a market crash or a fire or a flood. But mastery, that's yours, permanently. Nobody can take it. Nobody can tax it. Nobody can steal it. It lives in your body, your mind, your character, until the day you die. So let me ask you one final time. What will you master in 2026? Will you master discipline? Will you master money? Will you master your body? Will you master your mind? Will you master yourself? Or will you master nothing? Will you stay soft? Will you stay broke? Will you stay stuck? Will you stay comfortable and safe and slowly dying? The choice is yours, but choose fast, right now, because the year is starting. The clock is already ticking. Time is already moving, and Musashi's warning from 400 years ago is still true today. Sharpen your mind today, or be left behind by the system tomorrow. Become hard or be broken by softness. Start now or regret it forever. If you made it this far, if you watched this entire video, if you read every word, you're not completely soft. Not yet. You're on the edge. You're teetering. You're one choice away from transformation. One decision away from power. One step away from the life you actually want. So take it. Take that step. Do the thing. Make the decision. Start right now. Not after the video. Not tomorrow. Not Monday. Now. And if you do, if you actually follow the way, if you take the ridiculously small step every single day for the next 365 days without exception, if you do the iron accounting, if you face the truth, if you become the kind of person who does what they say they'll do, come back to this video exactly 1 year from today and leave one word in the comments. Just one word. Unbreakable. That's what you'll become. That's what Musashi was. That's what you already are underneath all the softness, all the fear, all the excuses, all the lies you've been telling yourself. There's a warrior in there, starving, forgotten, waiting, ready to be awakened. Feed him, train him, sharpen him, become him. The sword is in your hand. The battlefield is your life. The enemy is your old self. The time is now. Now go. The sword is in your hand. The battlefield is your life. The enemy is your old self. The time is now. Now go.